Hi guys, today we're going to react to Hedonist by Jinjer. It's been a while. This is a Buy Me a Coffee request from Dan W60. Thank you, Dan, for bringing us back to Jinjer and for your support. Much appreciated.
Thank you, Dan, definitely for bringing us back to Jinjer because it has been a long time since we've covered them and they are one of my favorites. So thank you very much and thank you for all the support so far. You've been absolutely amazing, pretty much since the beginning of the show and going strong.
Postpone joy in grand refusal of all the pleasures, right and wrong. I crave all pleasures, mine is pain. Let's have it my way, let it be no better gain. Drowning in wine, my cup I refill, indulging in desire. Love is so brief, I bask in delight, my opulence, my gift. Let it be no pain, let it be no pain. Oblivious sleep from dawn till sunset. Just indolence and peace, I feast on all of that. Awakening brings hunger, desire so intense, unquenchable thirst of pleasures, mine is pain.
Great joy listening to Tatiana again, and I think it's a great return to Jinjer after not having reacted to them for so long, where we get to just Tatiana. It's like dipping your toes in the ginger water again.
It is definitely a pleasure seeing and hearing Tatiana again. Absolutely amazing. There's just something about her that commands attention. And I was just listening at the beginning to her clean voice. I don't know if she will go into a rougher voice here of any kind, but we both assume that that's going to happen. But so far, it's only clean voice and it sounds fantastic. It's just beautiful.
Because it's a one-take performance and you get pure Tatiana here, you can't help but immediately dive into the subject matter. Judging by the song's title and by what she's actually saying, it's a song about reckoning when one realizes their own mortality and they're choosing to indulge on all the pleasures in life. I think it's one of our oldest addictions as people, the craving for instant gratification. She's singing about enjoying all the pleasures of the world and not experiencing any pain, just gain. And as she's singing about it, you can get from the subtext that there's something underlying, because there's no such thing, all pleasure and no pain. So she's indulging the narrator. I mean, she's singing, but the narrator is like celebrating the philosophical understanding, like decision that they made to indulge in just pleasure and experience no pain. But I think it will progress later to that moment of reckoning that that's not possible. We've listened to songs like this before with the same subject matter in so many words, but this one, she delves into dissect what it means to be indulgent in hedonism. Essentially, that's what it is.
You know with Tatiana that the lyrics are going to be at least somewhat philosophical and maybe political, but she always has something to say. And so far, it's exactly what you've been describing. It's about someone who basically just indulges in hedonism, avoiding all manner of pain or anything even negative. But even at the last two sentences that we got to kind of made me think what you were saying, that later on there might be some kind of a turn. The lines were awakening brings hunger, desire so intense, unquenchable thirst for pleasure minus pain. Before that, she talks about sleep from dawn till sunset. So it's like you sleep to avoid hunger. If you sleep, you will not feel hunger, but we all know that you can't avoid it. Eventually, the hunger will get to you. But it brought up something in my mind that all of this, all the hedonism, all this indulgence is avoidance. So as much as she even says it's to avoid pain, but hunger is not exactly pain. So it's to avoid anything that is slightly unpleasant, uncomfortable, negative. You just can't escape it. So I wonder where she's going to take it from here.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Yeah, I love the way the song says, paraphrasing here, all gain and no pain, or all pleasure and no pain. There's a contradiction within that thought process, because if there's no pain, if there's no discomfort, there's no growth. Even evolution declares it to us. Every birth is a painful process. So there's no growth. You'll never grow. You'll never exist if you don't experience pain. That whole approach is that of consumption. Indulgence is essentially consumption. That's why the feeling of emptiness will follow after just indulging in pleasures. There's like a deeper meaning in it. That realization that there's no growth without pain is a notion that I think hits everybody, whether they can articulate it in words or not.
Yeah, but with the narrator here, it seems that there is no need for growth, just to enjoy, just to indulge, and to avoid pain. So it's like if your only one target in life is just to avoid pain, you kind of have to think that eventually you will not be able to avoid it, but it'll be maybe a pain of a different kind.
Yeah, I agree. As I mentioned a minute ago, indulgence is essentially consumption of one's soul, because no pain, no growth. You stay in one place. I think that's a tragedy in it, but I think that's what she's singing about. That's what the underlying message is. You can even see it in the way she performs. There's nothing pleasant about her expression. She's laser focused and she's almost annoyed that she's delivering this message. That's what she looks like. I mean, it's not that. It's probably she's like hyper serious about it.
Yeah, well, that's Tatiana. She's always hyper focused and seems to attack the songs. So
Yeah. She's in battle.
Deprivation in exchange for immortality, or unlimited resources of ecstasy. I've killed the fear of death and God, but I am far from standing next to decide. I'm not a theorist, I'm an expert in the science of vegetation. I'm a stranger to restrictions and my purpose to existence. Yesterday's all the delicacy of life.
The kind of happiness, of pleasure quintessence, bottomless delight is a nature human right, of pleasure quintessence. Forget a consequence,
deterrent as an enemy of life. My corporate feel, but the hunger remains beyond the thrill. My yearning sustains. Now sadness of sanity is bread I'm feasting on. I've been searching for something new, but the margins never clone. A blessing. A grand curse.
It looks like Satan joined the performance. Tatiana's harsh vocals, I forgot how precise they are. She delivers them surgically. It's like a clean experience of harsh vocals. You can feel every little nook and cranny and the changes in her voice. I love it. I love listening to her. It's so crisp. And I also love that little rah she did in the middle of that. Like she took a breath. Rah. Yeah, I loved it. I enjoy thinking about how the harsh vocals added into the performance complement the underlying message. It's like essentially when you indulge only in pleasure and instant gratification and in hedonism, what inevitably happens is you become the worst version of yourself. And it's a slippery slope. It's a one-way ticket to your own demise without ever feeling fulfilled about anything. It's just pleasure. I said before, there's no growth. The entire presentation here is like a cautionary tale because enough people have done this. Enough people have fallen into that temptation. The song itself, I think, comes to educate.
Yeah, she even, in one line here, she refers to it as the cult of happiness. And from there, she kind of goes on to sort of use something that might be their mantra, kind of like bottomless delight is a natural human right. It almost sounds like something that would be said in a demonstration of sorts. She says, forget the consequence. Deterrent is an enemy of life. So it's like, if this is what you do, you will forget that there will be a consequence to it. I think it was towards the end, she says, my cup I refilled, but the hunger remains. It's a futile exercise trying to avoid pain and just feeding yourself pleasure, because the more you fill up, the emptier you'll become. And it's just a kind of a beautiful way to put it all. She has that skill in abundance, as far as songwriting and also the storytelling in the way she uses the clean vocals and then the rough vocals, and the rough vocals are just so on point, giving us that a blessing, a grand curse at the end, which is basically saying, yeah, that's what this is. For a moment, it feels like a blessing. You might enjoy it for a little while, but it is a grand curse long term and something you are unlikely to recover from. It's almost like the whole song is like a warning. More than it is judgment, it's a warning. And that's something that I think Tatiana and Jinjer do so well. Their music is absolutely amazing, and an amazing live band, and just in general, one of the best I've ever heard.
Yeah, I love how the song itself and songs like that, the underlying message itself, it like tickles your brain into redefining life for yourself. And to me, it means when you look at life, life was never about happiness. It was never about just one thing that you want to get, because that one thing would eventually make you desensitized. Life is not about happiness. It's about balance. You can't define happiness unless you were once unhappy. The craving for those pleasures, it has to come with balance. It has to come with pain, because you never get out from under it unless it does. Because when you become desensitized, you keep searching for the next best thing, because the same things don't give you pleasure anymore. So you keep trying to fill that hole, and that's what makes you crash and never be truly fulfilled. I think it's a very severe message. I think the world today suffers from that chasing pleasures and hedonism.
Yeah, and what you've described is something that we've discussed many times before. One time I remember is Light and Darkness. When we did that song by Baby Metal, we mentioned that without one, there is no other. If there was only light, we would never know darkness. If there was only darkness, we would know light. One is existence is the lack of the other. You kind of have to know one to know the other. You have to have one to have the other, sort of on and off, not necessarily at the same time. So it's the same here. You can't experience all this pleasure without knowing what pain is, what it feels like, without experiencing it. And if you do it for too long, you kind of forget what that was all about. So the pleasure loses meaning. It's just same. It's the same thing all the time. And she says that towards the end there, I've been searching for something new, but the margin's never grown. It's the same. There's no growth. There's no change. So yeah, it is. It's a futile exercise. So again, thank you, Dan, for this awesome request. We appreciate it. We appreciate you bringing us back to Jinjer, back to Tatiana. We love her. We love the band. Absolutely amazing. Fantastic song. Keep it coming. We appreciate you. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Dan, for requesting this wonderful song. We enjoyed reacting to it very much. We love Jinjer. More like this will be much appreciated. And thank you for your support. If you enjoyed this episode, guys, please be sure to like, subscribe, comment, and click the little bell icon so you get notified on all our future videos. If you have a song in mind you'd like us to react to, please make your request through BuyMeACoffee. The link is at the top of the description below. Thank you all for sticking with us. Thank you all for your time.
As always, our Jinjer Reactions playlist should be up on the screen sometime about now. Give it a click, check them out. Fantastic band with a lot of great music. Thank you so much for all the support you're throwing our way. We appreciate you. We'll be back in a couple of days with a new episode, and we hope to see you all then. Thanks a lot, guys. Bye for now.
Bye, guys.